Cool. So you've seen how test containers work. You've seen how to apply the flyway migration programmatically. And what we're going to do now, and also you've seen how do we connect our application to the test container Postgres instance that we have running with Docker. Now, obviously, this is just me showing you how to use test containers. But in reality, what we need to do is the following. We need to abstract all of this so that we have tests that can use this as the base class in order to have all of this functionality. So let's refactor this and abstract everything away so that all the other tests or any test that we need, we could just reuse what we have. So what I'm going to do here is within Java and then com.amigos code, let's have a new class. And here I'm going to call this as abstract and then DAO unit and then test. So we could call it abstract DAO unit test or abstract and then unit test. And in fact, let's just say test container. So test containers and then unit test. So this is a long class, but basically we're going to change this from a regular class in a second to a public class. And we're going to say public and then abstract and then class. So we basically don't want anyone to use this class, but instead they should reuse it. Now let's take all of this stuff that we had here in here. So let's just take all of this and I'll show you how we're going to change this in a second. So let's just take everything pretty much, go back and then paste it here. And we are almost good to go. So now the first thing that we want to do is we want to say that before all tests, we want to migrate. So here I'm going to use the before class. So before the class is executed, I want to run the flyway migration. So let's just take all of this from here. And let's just remove this test. We don't need it anymore. So we're going to paste this here. So we are good to go. Then this guy right here, so PostgreSQL container. So this is fine. We're going to leave it as is. This guy as well. So dynamic property source. This is also fine. And we can remove this test right here. So no need for this test. And in here, we could just say that this class is annotated with @ and then test containers. If I go back to my test, and now we can get rid of all of this. So let's just get rid of all of this. And we're going to leave the test in here. So this one. So I just want to make sure that things indeed work. So let's just do this. And we can get rid of this. And now we say extends and then abstract test container unit test. So we can actually rename this. Let's just make this a better name. So here we're going to say that this class, let's just call it, so it's a long name. So let's just say rename and then test container or abstract test container. There we go. Let's just use that. And now within our test container test in here, we extend abstract test containers. And here we don't have access to the PostgreSQL container. So let's just come here for a second. And this is because this is private. So let's just change this from private to protected. So now the subclasses have access to it. Cool. So at this point, I just want to run this test to make sure that the test passes and that we can connect to it. But we'll remove this in a second. So let's just run this test. And hopefully everything should just work. And you can see that this works and we have everything configured. And we are done. So now we have this abstract test containers. We can just start creating our tests and extend this class, and we have the database, and then we can execute a bunch of tests. If you have any questions, drop me a message. Otherwise, catch me on the next section.